First impressions are vital in the world. It really doesn't matter what you're talking about. Everywhere, it is extremely important. If on your first day of work, you hacked the biggest loogie into your hand and then stuck your hand out to shake your new boss's hand, that would be your last day too. Same goes for music. A lot of bands that you'll listen to, you'll find either three ways initially by your first reaction with them. 1, love at first sight. 2, they have room for growth and I'd like to keep up with them. See what happens to them. And 3, ignore them and pretend you never even existed. Now tonight I talk about a band and it was pure love. This was way back in 2002. And I can't think of another band that I've actually found that beats this. It is pure and simple love at its finest, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Deftones. This show is all about taking the veil off of being a fanboy and listening to the music objectively. But I promise you guys right now, I will not do this with the Deftones. I am no fanboy. What was that? What the hell?
Bullshit, that's a lie and you know it.
Smarty? What are you doing here?
Tony, shut up. You damn well know you are the biggest Deftones fanboy of all time.
Okay, dude, that's just not true and you know it.
I watched you change.
Change in House of Flies released June 27, 2000 on the White Pony CD. That doesn't prove anything.
When you sing, it's over.
Minerva released April 29th, 2003 off of the self-titled Deftones CD. That doesn't mean much. That doesn't make me a fanboy. I mean, I'm just really known about the music. Duh. Music freak. Hello.
What is lead singer Chino Moreno's favorite meal?
Macaroni and cheese with crystal hot sauce.
Yeah. Tony, thank you for proving my point. I've got, lunch to... plane to... catch.
Okay, maybe he has a point. So, we better fix this. To be fair to the music, this won't be a typical review in the sense that I can't just tell you the whole history, but I'll give you a rundown as I saw it. So I will still talk about their history and how it affected me, but to give you an idea of their power more. So let's not waste any more time, folks. Let's dive right in. The band formed in 1998, so I can definitely say I had a lot of catching up to do with them when I first came around to seeing them. The first I heard of them was from the song Change in House of Flies. It was a perfect song to prove how edgy they could be and still be near scary. When a horror movie does the typical jump scare, it tends to get cheap and make you feel silly. But in music, it's a tactic that pulls you in with atmosphere and then sends a powerful blast at you just when they've reeled you in. Deftones do this perfectly. I mean, just listen to the one line in this song that still to this day sends chills down my spine.
Look at the cross, then I look away. Give you the blow me away.
You see? That scared the crap out of me when I first heard it. Now, a lot of people are going to go ahead and say that it's not really anything about the atmosphere or the singer, but it has to do with the fact that the guitars just kind of jumped at you. Like, really a jump scare. But that's not it. I mean, listen to the acoustic rendition of it and tell me it's not scary.
I look at the cross, then I look away. Give you the gun, blow me away.
I'm not gonna lie, folks, when I first heard that, I almost shit myself. First album the band released was Adrenaline, and I'll say right now, this was a great title for this album. Everything was blood pumping. It was so in your face, you didn't really get a chance to breathe. This, when I finally found it, was the epitome of how to do a fast-paced and insane album. The next album to come out was Around the Fur. I really don't know what to say about this, except it showed off how great the band could be. It was loud, in your face, and proved they were constantly actually evolving. What was once a nu metal band from Sacramento soon became the ideal band for alternative metalheads. It continued this trend over and over for the rest of the history, and it's something to really pay attention to if you're not known. I truly recommend checking out this one as well. Next up comes my favorite album of all time. Yeah, I'll say it right now. It is my favorite album of all time. White Pony. As I said before, this was the first I heard of the band, and boy am I glad I did. I still stand by the idea that it is my favorite, and shows how they are as a group. It's rare I find an album I can listen to straightforward, no skips, and just enjoy it. This is that kind of album. To this day, I go from Fetishier to Pink Maggot, no jumping. Not much more I can say, but if you haven't bought this album already, I strongly urge you do it right now. After this video, of course. Next is a self-titled album from 2003. This was definitely good. I mean, yeah, it wasn't as powerful as White Pony, but still very amazing. It had many of the hits the band is known for, and it shows it. I would say this proved that the band had evolved so much after all the years. They might have started as a nu metal band back in '88, but by 2003 they were completely different. An awesome album from an awesome band, and truly showed everything they've gone through. Now, it's about this time that I start talking about a really specific trend that I've been seeing with a lot of the past albums. You see, in the past albums, they were all produced by a man named Terry Date from Seattle. Now, he's known for doing a lot of great records and produced some of the best music I've ever heard in my life. So he's produced, up until this point, every Deftones album. And it showed. Now, a lot of people are going to go ahead and argue with me saying, well, Anthony, that doesn't really mean much. I mean, a producer really doesn't have very much stake in it. Well, that would be normally for like movies and TV shows. But see, the producer in music has a lot riding on this. Their money is actually very important, and their say gets so much in the end product. The producer will be in the booth the whole time, telling you what you can say and what you cannot say. If he doesn't like it, he can take away his money. It's that simple. And the relationship that Terry Date and the Deftones had proved amazing for the last couple of albums. Now, this is actually where we start to hear rumors about band issues, internal struggles, fights. The next album would be delayed for almost an entire year due to struggles. Would it be a good album? Would it be just as good as the last four?
Belief in the one true power. Belief in the one true power.
Nope. That's not to say this is not a great album. It definitely is good. But when compared to the rest of their stuff, you can see that this wasn't a record made by friends for the sake of their fans. It was something to put out to make the producers get off their ass. And as much as I complain about the album, I think that's what gives it the boost it deserves. It's obviously not the best, and yet still proves how great the band is to put out a good record. It was the best I'd heard that year, and still is one of the best from that exact time period. No, not their best, but still. Over the next couple of years, the band would stick in the studio and start touring in between off and on. They would finally stop their touring for the album before finally going completely into the studio to record their next album, which would be called Euros. Unfortunately, a year later, bassist Chi Chang was involved in a horrible car accident that left him in a coma. He's since gotten out of the coma, but it's very unlikely he will ever play. As much as I hate to admit it, the damage he has suffered, he's every day getting much better, but it's still very unlikely we will ever see what we used to. And knowing it is unfortunately very unlikely that she will ever get back to the stage, the band decided to scrap the songs they had so far and bring in Sergio Vega to fill in the empty spot. Now, I know a lot of fans really didn't like this move. They were very upset by the idea that Serge would just jump up on stage. But to me, I actually respected this. I mean, he's already doing something he's not 100% comfortable in, filling in for somebody that he respects and really wishes was still doing this. It's obvious that he's just doing this to help out a friend who's can't do it anymore. So this whole he's not Chi thing is starting to get a little annoying, considering he's not trying to be Chi. He's trying to be Serge. No one can be Chi, no one will be Chi. This leads us to Diamond Eyes, released around May of 2010. Now, I've already talked about the album in a past review. If you want to find it, you can always find it on my website, but I'm not going to go ahead and go completely into it. But I will, of course, still talk about it. This proves that the band can come back from even the most stunning things and still go crazy. It's inspiring, actually, to see how the band changes gears. In Sunday Night Wrist, you could feel that there was tension. In this one, it's as if they screamed it all out before walking into the booth to record, saying, we can't let the fans know what's happening to the band. And they even show it live. It's the same fun antics they were known for from the start, just with a new addition to the mix. I will still say I prefer White Pony above all the other albums, but it was a special place in my heart because of the fact that it was the first album I heard. To wrap this up, the band kicks ass. It proves that they're a band that can withstand the test of time. No matter what happens, they'll come back and prove they can brush it away. If you haven't heard this band, you really should as soon as you can. And that's it for me. I really appreciate doing this. Always willing to talk about my favorite bands. So, I'll see you guys next week. Later.